I got this email yesterday that you want to be on your podcast, and I was really honored. I agreed instantly, even though I was traveling and et cetera, because I wanted to say thank you to you. It's from the heart. I saw you on January 27th, 2020 in Auschwitz. It's very hard for me to visit Auschwitz. I've been there many, many times. And seeing you made my day. Seeing the president of Poland, I know him a little bit, President Duda, that was a great, honor. And seeing the king and queen of Belgium, but seeing you, the governor of the second most populous state in the Union, a governor who wields tremendous political power, seeing that you made the trip all the way there for like 2 days, you gave me solace, you gave me comfort. And I wanted to say thank you. That's the main reason I said this is such an important subject to discuss, but I really wanted to say thank you. I never expected to say it from here.
Well, Rabbi, I thank you for your kind words. As I mentioned before, I wanted to be at Auschwitz precisely because it was hard to be there. Showing up when it's hard is important. I would go to Israel whenever they were under attack. Why? Because it's easy to go when they're not under attack. It's when the bombs are flying that I would go because I wanted to show that I was there in the hard times. Auschwitz, I'm not an overly emotional person. I cried when I was at Auschwitz. It is that powerful, and to think back at the suffering and how many people. So it was very moving for me. And you're right. I would not believe that we were here in 2022 in this situation in New York. I wouldn't believe that Kanye West, I don't care how relevant he is as a rapper, that he would get any response at all. I do believe the leaders have to be more vocal. I do believe you have American leaders who are now timid politically, almost across the board. You see a timidity of leadership in American politicians. And I think they've become more timid on the issue of Israel, given the overall complexity of the Middle East now. But that timidity has to stop, and they have to stand up, and they have to speak. And also, I believe American citizens have to understand that anti-Semitism is anti-American. They are the same. They are the same cowardice, and it has to become more of a popular movement where we ostracize anyone who is as ignorant as Kanye West or a Kyrie Irving or anyone who would deny the Holocaust or associate themselves with Adolf Hitler. That has to be condemned, not just by politicians, but by people. And I mean ostracize. Forget their products, forget what they do, forget their social media. Let the American people be an example where the people lead, not just the politicians. That's my hope and my prayer.
Well, but Governor, you have to also understand, I completely agree, America is primarily influenced by culture, not even by politics. Most politicians in the United States will struggle with a 10, 20, 30% name recognition level. A president will have 99%. A vice president might only have 50%. But you're right. Actors, actresses will normally trade in 90% name recognition percentiles. Having said that, it is essential that political leaders speak out because political leaders determine budgets. They determine policy. You are a Democratic governor and politician who has always been pro-Israel. Now, traditionally, the Democratic Party has had the most stalwart lions for Israel, legends like Scoop Jackson. If I look even in my own state, New Jersey, Senator Robert Menendez, who was a real opponent of the Iran deal because it threatened Israel with genocide and annihilation. We need more pro-Israel progressives. We need more Democratic leaders such as yourself returning to the Democratic Party's roots, not being hijacked by the likes of Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib. I have no issue with Palestinian Americans who speak out on behalf of the Palestinian cause. I have an issue with Palestinian American legislators who speak out with anti-Semitic tropes, saying that Jews live for Benjamins, control Benjamins, etc. It's anti-Semitism. Palestinians are my brothers and my sisters. Arabs and Muslims are my brothers and sisters. It's the anti-Semitism. It's the disgusting attacks on our people. And to be honest, Governor, we need to hear more defenses of Israel and the Jewish people from Democratic lawmakers. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is a Republican. She's an anti-Semite. I don't believe for a moment that Donald Trump is an anti-Semite. His own daughter is is Jewish, and I'm going to defend him. What I won't defend is him aiding and abetting, even inadvertently, the most disgusting Hitler-loving anti-Semites by breaking bread with them. That kind of credibility being lent from the most powerful office on the land to a Jew hater is an abomination. So, there has to just be right and wrong. And one of the things that I'm really kind of worried about in America, Governor, is that the rules of right and wrong have been so blurred. Once upon a time, facts were facts, history were history. Now, we don't even know what right and wrong is. I tell my wife sometimes, I'll watch CNN at night, one story. I'll turn on Fox. It's the exact same story. And you would think that it's a totally and utterly different universe. I mean, the facts are different. It's unbelievable. But anti-Semitism is the world's oldest hatred, and we have to condemn it because it never really had a place at the table in American politics. Now, let me just tell you, as someone who ran for Congress as a Republican in New Jersey, and lost, by the way, lost pretty well, Joe Biden has been a tremendous friend to Israel in the White House. I don't agree with his efforts to close an Iran deal. I don't think he will, but he's been a tremendous friend, and he always was. What happened to basic gratitude? Republicans telling Democrats, we're brothers, we're American brothers. We disagree here and there, but we're brothers. We stand for the same thing. I am a white Jew who believes that the greatest American of the 20th century, who knows, was Martin Luther King, who didn't even celebrate his 40th birthday. He took the biblical truths that were in the Hebrew Bible and he transformed them into a liberation manifesto that not only liberated his own people, African Americans, and helped to end, of course, Jim Crow and the Voting Rights Registration Act, and it all done under Lyndon Johnson, who had started as a real racist. He was a Democrat, changed completely. But more importantly, Martin Luther King gave relevance to my religion, to my Torah, to my Judaism. He showed that the words of Micah and Jeremiah and Zechariah all had relevance, not just from 2,500 years ago, but to the great battles of freedom. Now, let's go back to the Bible, even to fight anti-Semitism. It's the Jewish people that taught the world that God created us all in our image. It's right there in the first chapter of Genesis. Any Jew or any Protestant or any Catholic or any Buddhist or any Hindu who believes that any person in a different faith or different ethnicity, I don't use the word race because there is only one, I hate the word race, there's only one human race. But anyone who believes that someone is inferior to them has violated that very first chapter of Genesis. Now, that was the essence of what we're looking behind me, right? The essence of Hitler, the essence of the Third Reich was to subdivide all of humanity into races. And some races were superior, and some races did not need to be extinguished. They were Slavic. They could just be used for slave labor. Then you had the parasites and the bloodsuckers at the bottom, the Jews, who were an infestation, who were termites, to use the words of even some American anti-Semites like Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam, and they had to be exterminated. Now, we've now, thank God, eviscerated that kind of ideology. And to see it coming back from Berlin, from right here, into the United States, where we defeated Hitler, the greatest generation, 500,000 Americans gave their life to liberate Dachau, to liberate Buchenwald. Even to see the disgrace of the current Russian army. The Russian army liberated Auschwitz, where you and I were on January 27, 2020, for the 75th anniversary. Now they're invading Ukraine, bombing women, bombing children. Look at the disgrace of a once great army because of a disgusting thug, a monster and a killer named Vladimir Putin. So we've got to go to back to basic right and wrong.
No, I'm with you, Rabbi. And it does pain me as a Democrat to see the Democratic not being more forceful here. The extreme left on the Democratic side intimidates the moderate Democrats. And you're right, there's only a few Democrats who actually will speak explicitly about their negative feelings towards Israel. But the far left intimidates the moderate Democrats, and they have to be louder and they have to speak up. And I cherish the relationship between the Democratic Party and the Jewish community. I mean, all my life.
And you always have. You always have.
And that is something that the Democratic Party has to do a better job. But look, you're there to do God's work. And you're right, get back to basics. It's still tikkun olam. It's still about tzedakah. Right. It's still about justice. It's still about healing. It's still about reaching across the divide. And we have to double down on it. Are we both shocked that we are in this place? Yes. But we know that we can make things better, and we'll do it together. Rabbi, God bless you and be safe in your travels.
Governor, I want to say one final thing, just because I'm in a real moment of truth. When you're Jewish and you visit Berlin, I wanted to tell you that gratitude, hakarat tov in Hebrew, is the real Jewish concept. And I'm so grateful for the leadership. We live in the New Jersey, New York area. I watched your daily briefings. Like I said, I didn't agree with all your lockdowns. I fought some of them. But I really felt, in a nation that doesn't seem to value life anymore, people run around with assault rifles and they're gunning down schools. When you stood up for the elderly and said that they're not expendable, when you said that, all of that, we can argue about policy, but the principles were important. And you gave the people in our area, we lived through hell. That year was hell on earth. And you gave us strength and comfort. And I used to watch your briefings every day, and me and my wife used to watch them religiously, no pun intended. And I'm grateful for your leadership, and you gave us hope. God bless you always.
God bless you, Rabbi. I'd love to see you when you come back.
Thank you.
Travel safe.
Yes, thank you. Same here. God bless.
God bless. God bless. Thank you.